Hey y'all, I'm Carol with Free Spirit Arts. Welcome back. We're gonna do a little Sunday crafting. We're going to get me caught up on Self-Care Sunday. I can't do them all because I don't have time, and I'm just behind because I've been sick for a couple weeks. Well, I don't know about sick, but I was unwell, let's just say that. So the things that I want to do, Self-Care Sunday is sponsored by Tammy Van Antwerp over at her channel on YouTube. She's doing Self-Care Sunday every Sunday, and then she's been doing affirmations every day. And this morning, Self-Care Sunday, she did a collage combining her list of affirmations, which was wonderful. It was great. And I'm loving all the affirmations. She's done a pampering video on a Self-Care Sunday. She did a do nothing on a Self-Care Sunday. What else, Tammy? I can't remember. So what I thought I would do in order to support Tammy's efforts and get caught up, I thought I would do like she did today. I'll do a collage, but I didn't. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? I cleaned up my room and put all the dark book stuff, pretty much all of it, away. And I miss that book. It's on its way to its new owner and I miss it. Strange, huh? I have my candle still lit from earlier. So, getting back to what I was saying. I'm going to try to combine things. I should have made a list. Oh, shoot. I should have made a list. I might have to pull up my phone and look at some of our affirmations. I assumed I had them in my head, but I know there was wealth and abundance and health. Oh, I can't remember. We may have to pull those up, but that's okay. We can do it if I get that far, so no, not a problem. Okay. I'm trying to do about 6 different things with a broad brush. Let me show you what I have in mind. This, I've had in my craft room now for a very long time. I've used it for all kinds of things. Right now, it's housing, okay, I didn't realize it had I'll show you guys this. This was our logo for our restaurant. And it's been, I don't know, 30 years since I've had the restaurant, at least, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, that was my son's t-shirt that he would wear. He thought he was so cool because he got to work at the restaurant. But this is all of my boho and scrap sari and stuff like that. And this fits it great, but it really doesn't do it justice because it's not very pretty. So I'm going to dump this out over here on the counter. Actually, Grandma, I'm just going to dump it right behind me in my cart. That worked out well. And I'm thinking neutral, shabby, Uh-oh, we might be in trouble. Boy, I lucked out. This is going to have to be, I'm going to have to go through it. I haven't opened this for a while, so. Yeah, I've got some paste. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I got it from one of the kits I bought from Mixed Media, Minnesota. I could use that. I've got picket fence, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? The picket fence or my picket fence? In pink. So we can use that. Oh, that's much, much, much better. All right. Got my gesso. Let's go to town. Okay, so what I thought I would do is talk a little bit about Self-Care Sunday and affirmations. I had commented on Tammy's YouTube channel. Was it last week? I think it was last week. That the card that she pulled a card. I'm wondering if I need to, maybe I better paint that. Because I don't want the paper to go up clear to the top and make it thick so I can't get the lid on. So maybe I better paint this. Yeah, so she pulled a card, a tarot card, I think it was. And it was really interesting to me because the card that she pulled, when you went to the book, and it talked about the meaning of a card and how to interpret it, basically they were talking about cognitive behavioral therapy. And cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most common therapeutic techniques that we use in therapy nowadays. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So basically, the premise of, well, there's several different avenues to cognitive behavioral therapy, but basically, it's evidence-based thinking. It's teaching you how to use evidence. I think that'll be fine. It's just a little, enough to get rid of that Christmas green. Using evidence to challenge thinking errors. So let's say that you are struggling with depressive thinking, the first therapeutic thing we need to do is to figure out what is the thinking. You know, what are you telling yourself? What are what we call automatic thoughts? So when you walk into a room, are you thinking, everybody's staring at me, or I'm never going to make a friend, I'm not welcome here? What is it that's your automatic thought? What is it that's in your mind? What's going through your head? And let's say, for instance, that the automatic thought that you think is the first thing you think of when you go into a room is, everybody's going to tease me because I'm fat. Okay, so let's challenge that. Let's use evidence to challenge that. Let's pull this up a little bit. I want to do right in the middle here. So what are the, first of all, are you fat? Because maybe you are, you know, people struggle with obesity, and let's just face it, obesity's another word for fat. You know, if you gain too much weight, you got a little extra fat going on. So let's just take that out of the mix and assume that you're overweight. So the truth is, yes, you're overweight. Okay. So you're self-conscious about being overweight, and it causes you to have anxiety and struggle with social situations, and you've decided that your automatic thought is, gosh, if I go in there, everybody's going to tease me because I'm fat. Okay, so what are the chances that that's true? Let's challenge that. If you are over the age of 10, there's going to be minimal chance that you're going to be in a room with people that are seriously going to make fun or chastise your physical body. The likelihood of that is very, very slim. So when you talk about affirmations, if you're talking about that you're going to make an affirmation, about your body image, or to help you with social anxiety or something, and you've decided that you think your affirmation is going to be, sorry, I got a cough that's just about to cough. I'm comfortable in social situations. Let's say that you've decided that you think that's going to be your new affirmation. I'm comfortable making friends, or I'm comfortable in social situations, okay? Then you're going to use evidence-based thinking to say, I'm really not going to listen to that little voice in my head and that fear of being teased. I am comfortable in social situations. Now, so that's an affirmation. And Tammy's right. The more you say it, the more it becomes more comfortable on your tongue, the more it becomes part of your mental repertoire. But therapeutically, there's another step that's important, because something becomes part of you and more realistic when you're able to do it. Your brain doesn't know a lie. Your brain does not know a lie. So if you are constantly calling yourself an idiot, or you are saying bad things about yourself, or you're telling people you're not good at this or you're not good at that or whatever, your brain doesn't know any different. So it's going to believe that, and it will act accordingly. You will be uncomfortable in a social situation, and you will start to doubt your abilities. So if you're always telling people, oh, I have such a hard time making friends, oh, I don't want to go out because people always stare at me, or whatever it is, whatever your self-talk is, your brain will believe it. So it's so important that you not say that. But getting back to the next step of an affirmation, when you decide that there's something that you want to change in your life, and you want to be more confident, you want to bring something else into your world, you say it. And I always say that you should write it also. Just like when your teacher used to make you write on the blackboard, 100 times I will not talk in class. Which I know they don't do that anymore. But the next step is to what I call act as if. So Alcoholics Anonymous, many, many, many years ago, adopted that phrase, act as if. And they came to it because people with addiction who were struggling with recovery weren't sure what that was supposed to look like. Where do I go to have fun? How do I go to a social event and not drink? How do I make a friend if I'm not drinking? Where does that happen? How do I dance without drinking? How do I eat? How do I get up in the morning? How do I whatever? So they developed the phrase one day at a time. And during that same thing, they adopted the phrase act as if. And at that time, I don't know if the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous understood what they were doing psychologically, because the term cognitive behavioral therapy hadn't been invented yet. No one had really studied that kind of therapeutic intervention, and so it was kind of new on the scene. It wasn't even on the scene, actually. So act as if is, even though you don't know how it's going to go, you act as if you do. So you act as if you don't drink, that you're a non-drinker, and you say, oh no, I don't drink. With confidence. You say it with confidence. And you don't reinforce a negative thought by, say, not going to the social situation. Because when you stay home, or when you don't go, or when you go and you sit in the corner, fight or flight mode, you're basically reinforcing that automatic thought that I'm not safe here, I can't have fun here, whatever. Whether it's because maybe you're self-conscious of your body image, maybe you are trying not to drink or use, or maybe you lack social skills and you don't know how to start a conversation, whatever it is, when you act as if, it means you do the behavior that someone who's confident in that area would do. So if you have body image issues, you don't wear great, big, huge, floppy, frumpy, ugly clothes trying to hide your body because you're self-conscious. No. You put some snug jeans on and you put a belt around your waist and you put a pretty top on and you put some makeup on your face if that's what you do, and you go. Regardless of what the automatic thinking is telling you. You do the behavior and you act as if. And I'm making this very short. It's actually, it can be a real challenge, but I can't even count how many times I've given homework and seen the results and watched people heal and become confident, and it really is wonderful. And it's a matter of just changing, getting back to that card that Tammy pulled. I can't remember exactly what it said, but basically it said that thoughts become actions and actions become behavior or your life, you know. And it's true. It's true. If you change your thinking, you change your emotion, you change your life. It's true. It absolutely works. It's not just a matter of telling yourself things that feel good. It's much, much deeper than that. When we work on affirmations, therapeutically, of course, it's more of a psychological approach than an emotional approach. You know, when you're dealing with maybe a history of trauma, abuse, things like that, it's a very powerful way to get through that and move on and be able to have more direction in your life and not allow the trauma from the past to control you still. So I thought it was pretty interesting that that card was basically talking about the power of your thoughts. And how, if left unchecked, your thoughts turn into behavior, and your behavior turns into your life. It is so true. You don't have to settle. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was when Tammy was talking about, she did a self-care Sunday, was it 2 Sundays ago, I think? And she was talking about the assignment for that Sunday was pamper yourself. And she picked out some nail polish, and she polished her nails and talked about all kinds of ways that you can pamper yourself. And I think that's great. When I think of pampering, I also think, I don't want that to have such a straight line. I also think of other things that we tend to avoid sometimes when we're struggling with maybe self-esteem or confidence and things like that, like boundaries. It is such a gift that you give to yourself when you set boundaries. When you're able to say no, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to. Let's see. I want to kind of stagger that, I think. Boundaries make for very healthy relationships. They're one piece of healthy relationships, because when you have healthy boundaries and you're able to say no, or you're able to say yes with an open heart, then you avoid a lot of the resentment that can come from saying yes when you really didn't want to. When we say yes, or we don't stand up for ourselves, so basically we say yes by proxy, then chances are down the road we're going to resent that. So when I think of pampering, besides soaking in a nice tub and having a little cup of coffee in bed in the morning, and those kinds of things, I also think of boundaries. I think of having a standard that you live by, that you honor, that other people can count on. People know that if I say I'm going to do something, it's because I want to. Not because I feel obligated, not because I don't have the guts to say no. I do things because I want to. And that lets people know that when I do things, it's from love. It's because I want to. And that is in an effort to avoid resentment. Pampering can, I've seen people make efforts to boost their self-worth by refusing to do things. Like they refuse to clean their house, they refuse to get up in the morning, they refuse to do their laundry, and they're under the false impression that by refusing to do stuff, they're setting this firm boundary that I don't have to do everything, not everything is up to me, you can't make me do things, that kind of thing. And I'm inclined to believe that the opposite is usually true. And what I mean by that is that if you really want to convince your brain that you have value and you are worthwhile and you deserve respect, the first thing you're going to want to do is show that behavior by respecting yourself. Getting up every day, making your bed every single day, getting dressed, eating healthy, all those things. And those are signs that you have self-respect. And it reinforces to your brain that you believe that you are worthy of it. It may even mean it might mean, walking, exercise program, things that you would normally think of as kind of work. But when you think of it in terms of respect for yourself, what a better way to show that you value yourself than to take care of yourself. It's very important. And we all know people who when they walk into a room, you just know that they respect themselves. They know who they are, and they're not rude. They don't demand things. They don't have to. I like the way this is turning out. What a mess. And a lot of times when someone has suffered trauma, it can be very, very challenging to know what it feels like to have self-respect. When someone has shown you that they don't respect you, depending on your worldview, it can mean that you interpret that to mean I'm not valuable enough to respect. I'm not worthy of respect. Sounds like hubby's home. This reminds me of making a paper mache piñata. Oh, I was going to talk just a little bit about the affirmation for wealth and abundance. That's a good one, isn't it? To me, wealth and abundance doesn't necessarily mean money. And I would say even most of the time doesn't mean money. But when your affirmation is about wealth and abundance, to me, then when you're meditating on that, the emotion that you want to generate from the affirmation is gratitude. It might mean, I guess it could mean, you know, I have a beautiful car and a full bank account and a gorgeous home and diamond. I guess it could mean that. Don't know that there's anything wrong with that. But wealth and abundance for me is also wealth in valuable relationships. I like the text going different directions, so I'm going to stagger that a little bit. When I think of wealth and abundance, yeah, I guess, you know, yeah, there's definitely a financial, can be a financial component, but I also think of like relationships or success intuitively, being able to guide your own life and be pleased with the way things are going and feel content. You know, if you were to leave this earth today, is that okay? Do you feel like you've done the work you need to do? Do you feel like the people around you know that you love them and in therapy, I teach people that happiness is really, A, it's really not attainable, and B, whatever pretense you're under, happiness is temporary at best. There are far more valuable states of being. Like being content. That's very powerful. Being at peace. Tammy, I'm glad you're doing Self-Care Sunday. I think it's great. And I think I'll take a piece of sandpaper or my little file here and file these bumps off instead of leaving them. I thought I liked them, but I do like them, but I think I want to gesso over this. So I think I'll take the bumps out with a file. One of the other affirmations I think would be great to be on the list, Tammy, is I am safe. And when you're saying an affirmation over and over again, it's much more effective in helping you if you can close your eyes and generate the emotion that's generated by that affirmation. So when you say, I am safe, what does that feel like? We all know kind of what it feels like to be safe. Is it in the arms of someone we trust? Is it in a special place? And imagine yourself there until you can generate that emotion that's caused when you feel safe. When you can tap into the words, I feel safe, I am safe, and you can generate that emotion, your brain never knows a lie, so your brain believes that you are safe. So all those hormones of well-being are stimulated. Not sure I like this any better than the way it was before I started. Okay, let's set this over here for a second. And let's do the lid. Oh, that smells like fresh brewed coffee. Tanya over at Tatty Treasures is doing this bluebell. I think she's done now. She made these journals out of this bluebell paper. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. I think I'm gonna just set that right there. else have I been watching? Oh, I can't think. I've watched Eva over at Bohemian Crafting. I love her. Oh, I've been watching Angela Toma. She's doing the Tranquility Journal with the kit that she got from Shannon at Mixed Media, Minnesota. Oh, geez. It's beautiful. Angela does nice work. I love watching everybody's different styles, you know. Oh, I watched the gal over at the Paper Terrace. Oh, she posted several books, and so she did a flip through of a bunch of her journals. It's kind of boring doing the same ones over and over again, but the deer were all out all day today. They've been hanging out on the mountain behind the house. And I don't know why, because, excuse me, the snow is melted up in the mountains. They can go up there and get green grass, but anybody watching 90 Day Fiancé or Darcy and Stacy or any of that? Okay. Let's let this sit for a second. And bring this over, which should be dry. Oh yeah. And do we want a little gesso? I'm thinking if I put gesso on this and then sand it, the green underneath should come through, and maybe it won't. Maybe that, I'll like that color of green. Maybe. Because if I sand it now, the green's going to show, and the gesso won't quite cover it. So I think I will do it the other way. Oh, I did both sides. Darn it. Okay. Okay, well, whatever. Fortunately, gesso does stick a little bit, so that makes it nice for any of the parts that haven't quite gone stuck down yet. Every time I gesso, I think of Andrea from Artie Mays. She's the one that taught me how to not be afraid. And I love what gesso does. It just blends the seams and brings everything together. I don't know why that's not sticking. That's my favorite part. Okay. Yeah. Let's try to maybe get some of this down. Oh, Christina's Creation, she has some antique paper kits. If you're looking for vintage papers, she has put together some cute kits. She might be sold out, but I don't think, it might have been yesterday or day before. Yeah, they were great, Christina. They were great. it doesn't want to stick, but if it had gesso on it, it would. I'm wondering if maybe I should gesso this real quick. Let's do it. Whoops. It's not sticking at all. I don't like that. This coffee paper has an oil to it, and it's so brittle from being baked and ironed that it really doesn't have any bend. It's waterproof, and putting this Mod Podge on isn't soaking into the paper. At least not like I would like. Can you hear Gus out there barking? He got to go for a ride in the truck. Poor little guy. That's one of his favorite things in the whole world is to ride in the truck. And you can tell when he's riding in the truck now, he's pretty uncomfortable. But he's got this huge smile on his face because he's getting a ride in the truck. It's still one of his favorite things. But it's pretty painful because he can't really stabilize himself. So Doug doesn't take him very often, but sometimes he gets to go. Probably would have been better to just dip these strips in the Mod Podge. Like plaster Paris, you know. Don't know how many videos I'm going to get to do next week. I've got a lot going on, and I've still got that other stuff I've got to take care of. Oh, I gotta quit, guys. I still don't have any stamina. Can't do much for very long of anything, seems like. Look what I did. Is it possible to turn this inside out? No, Carol, just throw it away. But let's get another one because that really works. Where is my, there it is. It really makes my heart sick to throw all this plastic away, so I really try hard to recycle. If you've gotten something in the mail from me, you've probably got recycled plastic. I just figure if we've used it twice, that's better than once and throw it away. Oh, yeah, beat. Gotta let it dry, or I'm gonna just mess it all up. And what I'm thinking is that I will gesso this, and then I'll sand on the whole thing a little bit, maybe gesso a little bit more, and then maybe some napkins or something like that. Okay, guys, that's my video. I hope my spiel about self-care was understandable. I kind of rambled. I didn't make any notes or anything, and so I probably should have. But Tammy, I appreciate it, and if you guys are interested, go over and sub her channel, and every day you'll get an affirmation, and once a week she does Self-Care Sunday, and it's really fun. Unlike what I just went through, more of a psychological thing. She's doing more of a self-care. So check her out. Thanks for doing it, Tammy. Let's all take care of each other. Bye.